Greetings, writers. It's Mr. Hebda here from the Lackawanna College Writing Center, here with part 3 in our series on pronoun agreement, pronoun number. So what is pronoun number? Well, remember, pronouns stand for nouns. That means they're words that stand for persons, places, things, or ideas. But sometimes there's more than one person, place, thing, or idea, and sometimes there's just one. And that's where the pronoun number rule comes in. So with pronoun number, we want to make sure that the number of the pronoun matches with the number of the noun that the pronoun stands for. So I like to use symbols to help us conceptualize or to help us understand the pronouns, because that's what pronouns are. They stand for something more than themselves, just like a symbol does. So let's think about the symbol 1. That stands for something beyond itself, this concept of a number. However, it wouldn't make sense for us to say that that symbol represents the word 2. That doesn't really make sense, because you've got a symbol that's supposed to represent just one thing, and then a word that's being attached to it that represents more than one. So similarly, when it comes to our pronouns and our nouns, we want to make sure that the number of each matches up. So let's dive into the two different forms of number in the English language. This is the singular and the plural cases. And usually pronouns line up on either one side or the other. They either represent just singular nouns or they can represent plural nouns. But there are also quite a few pronouns that are flexible and can stand for both singular nouns and plural nouns. So to help you navigate this terrain, I made a little chart here of some of the more common pronouns and what nouns they tend to represent. So I put our first and second person pronouns in the top row of green boxes, and I put our third person pronouns in the bottom row of green boxes. So if we start out under the singular column, you'll see we have I, me, my, which are our first person pronouns that represent just one person. And then we have he, she, it, him, and her underneath that, which are our third person pronouns that just represent one person or thing. And under our both column, we have a bunch of pronouns here that are flexible, especially the second person pronouns, you, your, and yours. These pronouns can stand for nouns that are singular or plural. And the third person pronoun they or their can also stand for singular and plural nouns. And the singular version of they is a recent addition that we'll need to talk about a little more later. Because traditionally it stands for more than one. Nouns that have more than one, they're plural nouns. So that's why we have they and their under our plural column, as well as our first person plural pronouns us, we, and our, which also stand for groups. All right, let's dive into some examples of correct pronoun number agreement. So here's an example of correct pronoun number usage in the singular. Jessica chased the hungry squirrels from her bird feeder. All right, so here our pronoun is her, and it's standing for Jessica. So we don't have multiple Jessicas here. We just have one Jessica. So we would just use the singular form of the feminine third person pronoun her to stand for her. Pretty straightforward. Here's an example of correct pronoun number usage in the plural. I was afraid I lost my keys, but they were in my pocket all along. So here we have the pronoun they, which stands for the noun keys. And notice that keys has that little s at the end of it. And in English, that often means that there's more than one. It means it's a plural noun. So here we have more than one key that's represented by the word they, by the pronoun they. However, we often use the pronoun they every day to represent a single individual. This is really common. In fact, it's called the singular they. And you and I have probably both done it today already. Here's an example. When the passenger got off the bus, they walked to the library. So notice here, we have our pronoun they, and it's matching up with the noun passenger. But passenger doesn't have that little s next to it, like keys did. It's just one passenger. So how is it matching up with a plural pronoun? Isn't this a mismatch? Well, actually, it's not. Because if you think back to our other example with Jessica and the squirrels, it was pretty clear that Jessica is feminine. But here we don't know if the passenger is feminine or masculine or identifies as a different gender. And so they has become common usage as an inclusive, a gender inclusive singular pronoun. So it stands for an individual without giving a sense of gender. Um, so this is actually really common, or I should say is really acceptable now. In fact, the Modern Language Association endorses it. And if you check out the website that I have here on our screen, it actually gives you even more examples of proper usage of the singular they. So feel free to check it out. It'll be a great tool for your essays. All right, great work today, writers. If you have any further questions, feel free to make an appointment with the Writing Center. Remember, we're always here to help. We're always here to see you succeed. And feel free to check out some more videos on our Lackawanna College Writing Center YouTube channel. So keep up the great writing, everyone. Mr. Hebda out.